all of a sudden, I'm not defending Nigeria. I don't have strong views in Nigeria, but Nigeria has become famous in the last week as a country in which there's Christian persecution going on. I think there's been a lot of conflict between Muslims and Christians in Nigeria for, my whole life. But all of a sudden, it's a kind of centerpiece of the conversation. What is the truth? You've been in and out of Nigeria for how long?
50 years.
50 years, 1975. Is that correct?
Yes.
It's a long time. So you know Nigeria pretty well.
I do.
What is the truth about what's going on? Well, and I ask because you've got credibility. You know the country, and you're spending the rest of your life defending Christians around the world. Tell me what the actual truth of Christian persecution in Nigeria is.
Let's be very clear that the Nigerian government is populated by Christians and Muslims. Mm-hmm. I have represented in his earlier life the National Security Advisor of Nigeria when he was a young man, and he's a lovely individual. And caring and universally respected in terms of religious issues. Devout Muslim, but universally respected. In my adopted family in Lagos, mm-hmm. the Odesanya family sort of adopted me when I was a very, very young man, and living there. I sort of have a half brother there, Dapo Odesanya. That family is a totally integrated family, Muslim, Christian. I was always teased that I was a Yoruba, which is a Jewish Yoruba. But I mean, there have always been tribal conflict. I spoke to the foreign minister before I came here because I wanted to get clarity on the government's position. Absolutely, let's be clear, President Tinubu's wife is a Christian pastor. This is not targeted at Christians. There are probably an equal or more number of Muslim deaths. I am grateful to President Trump for identifying these attacks on Christians. Believe it or not, you can blame some of this on the French, who had this.
I do. I know nothing about it, but I believe you anyway.
They had a massive force in the Sahel. They armed the Tuaregs, which are a notoriously aggressive tribal group. That arming has led to mass killings of Christians. The fact that when Libya blew apart, a massive amount of arms went down to Boko Haram can't be denied by anyone. Nigeria wants to consult with the United States. Nigeria wants assistance in protecting Christians and Muslims, protecting their populations. Nigeria feels it has not had a fair shake from Washington. And I'm not, I don't work for Nigeria. I'm not going to go on and on. The foreign minister is a close friend who I respect deeply. But I can tell you from my work, I was privileged to represent one of the Nigerian states years ago, Akwa Ibom. We won a case actually for them. The Nigerians would welcome American assistance with open arms. So this is unlike Ukraine, which is destroying its church, or Armenia, which is destroying its church. Here you have a government that wants to protect its populace, doesn't have the resources. Nobody's going to deny Nigeria's been racked by corruption all the years I've known it. But they want a new deal, a new relationship with Washington, and in part to assist them in protecting Christians. So when I read some of what I've been reading, I'm never going to say that Ted Cruz isn't a brilliant man. But I'm going to say I might have a little more time in Nigeria than he does. And I would welcome him to speak to the foreign minister or others, because one thing America doesn't need are more enemies. Africa is the future. I have said it time and time again. I'm privileged to be counsel to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. My firm has spent many years. We're still trying to defend the opposition leader of Tanzania, Tundu Lissu, who's been illegally jailed. 1,000 are dead protesting completely bogus, fraudulent elections. And to the credit of the United States, at least in the Senate, they've spoken out. Foreign Relations Committee has spoken out. We need our administration, and we certainly need the EU to stop funding this grotesque government in Tanzania. But we have to stop looking at Africa as a security concern alone, and we have to recognize that between their minerals and between the entrepreneurial spirit, Nigerian lawyers are as good or better than American lawyers or British lawyers. I mean, there is an incredible infrastructure of intelligence in Nigeria that we don't know anything about. All we try to do is sanction and condemn. It is a horrible, horrible part of our policy that we sanction the hell out of everybody. We are responsible for the consolidation of power in Moscow under Putin. If we were not sanctioning the hell out of all these people who had moved to Europe, who knows whether Putin would still be in power?
Exactly. No, that's the truth. I know. It's so counterproductive that it's got to be part of some sort of larger strategy that I'm too dumb to understand.